All right, in this last tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a wet spring morning. So same process, we're going to work through the exact same stack of effects. I think we'll just keep going. We'll copy over our winter effects, make sure we save that effect stack, and then we'll load that up, and then we'll kind of tweak that one back to be a wet spring morning. So let's get to it. All right, so in Lumion, you can see we've got our end of the winter rendering there. And let's set up our first camera. So we're going to go to camera number 6. Again, we're already on our camera view is set by camera 5. And then we're just going to snapshot that view on camera 6. Now, this winter effect stack, let's make sure that we save that out. I'll click on our menu button here. And we'll go to File and choose Save Effects. All right, and then I'm going to scroll down, and so we've got like our BD underscore, and we're going to go with dreary winter. All right, so we're good there. All right, so now let's move to our next camera, and we're going to load that same effect stack up. So I'll go to my menu, click on File, and then Load Effects, and we'll scroll down, and let's get to our dreary winter. Load that up, and now what we're going to start doing is unraveling this winter scenario and getting it to be a spring morning. All right, so same process that we've gone through for summer, fall, and winter, and now we're going to apply to spring. So the broad strokes, it'd be real sky. That would be like the first thing I'd want to go for. Real broad stroke here is getting this precipitation back to rain. So let's just do that. Let's bring it back to rain. And then let's get our particle quantity. I don't want it to be like pouring rain. I want it to be kind of a drizzly morning. So something more along those lines. I think that'll be a good place to start. And we're also going to need to turn off our winter layer. So let's do that first. It's kind of an easy big change to make. So layer visibility, we're going to turn off layer number 3, which is winter, and we are going to turn on layer number 4, which is spring. All right, so we're in good shape there. And now let's go to our effects, and on weather and climate, we can go to real skies. And let's choose a real sky, like a morning real sky. So I'll click on this thumbnail here, and now we can jump in and choose something in the morning. And so this is going to be a great scenario for our spring. Yes, looking good. All right, so let's just adjust the heading. I always just kind of move it all around. And what I should do first, though, is back down our lens flare. All right, so let's just go to our camera and go to lens flare and just bring that master brightness down like that. And then we'll go back to our real sky and adjust the heading, continue to adjust that heading. So really we want like a nice blue sky and hopefully some morning light hitting our building. Let's see if we can get that going. Oh, and the other thing I need to do is kill that sun effect, because that sun effect is overriding my real sky. And so we're just gonna go in here and delete the sun. So whenever that sun kind of sits on top of that real sky effect, it's gonna override any of those settings. So let's go back to page 2, go to real skies, and then mess with our heading and see if we can get that look of a morning. Let's see. So it's looking good there. We don't want the sun like shining at the camera. Something like that could be kind of cool. That looks pretty decent. Just a different light. All the other ones we've kind of been shining the light from the left of the screen onto the building. So this one's a little bit different. Let me try a different real sky. We've got morning, and I mean we could try something like this. Any of these are going to look really good. The real skies are pretty spectacular. All right, so let's slide that around. It's a pretty clear sky. Let me double check my fog in my precipitation effect. So I'll go back over here and click on precipitation and extra fog. Make sure that that's turned off. I think the vision that we're selling on this image is that it's just a really nice, clean, clear spring morning. That looks pretty cool. All right, so we've got, I think we need some, in order to see some raindrops, we really need some clouds in the background. So let me keep looking for a better real sky here. Maybe just something with a little more clouds. And if we could just get like that kind of, a little bit of a stormier effect going on in the sky, I think that would be a little bit more convincing. So let's just slide this around. And remember, if you hold shift, you can go slow. So let's see, not quite there. That's close. There are some darker clouds in the sky, so that's definitely going to be closer to the look that I'm trying to go for. So again, holding shift and just kind of getting these darker clouds like that. And I mean, we're not going to want like a ton of sun hitting the building. Let's try an overcast sky. So, I know I said morning, and we can get there. This looks like a morning overcast sky to me. This is more convincing when it comes to having some raindrops going on. So let's just scoot this around and see if we can get like a good look going on. We don't want it to be stormy per se, but just that drizzle happening will be cool. Like this, and kind of scoot that around. Yeah, this is going to be the look. It's the sun wants to come out. It's going to come out. It's just not yet. It's still in the morning. All right, that is looking pretty cool. I like this. All right, let's see what that does for us. And just to verify, we did in fact kill that sun effect. I deleted that out of there so that it's no longer overriding. This looks good. I'm happy with that one. And let's see, exposure. I'm just going to bring that back down to 0.5 just so that we can kind of, start with a baseline here. Now we'll leave that up. It seems like these images are kind of dark. Let's just leave that up. All right. So what else do we need to do? We've gotten our layers taken care of. So layer visibility, we're in good shape. We've got spring. And the layer that we're working on here, so under layer visibility, spring is layer number 4. So let's go back to our autumn colors. Remember, we've used this autumn colors effect several times. We used it for an autumn scene, a fall scene, but we also used it for our winter scene to desaturate the trees, and we might even use it for our for this to saturate the green in the trees. So let's set this to layer number 4. The hue is going to be, we need that to be green, and we don't want much range on that, and we just want it to be like kind of that super saturated, like if you desaturate, let's see, we need a little bit more range on that, and saturation. Yeah, there you go. You can see that the green is like really popping, when you bring it up. We don't have to go max power, but like, let's see, maybe, we don't want them to be blue. So I'm just going to slide this around until I get that right look of like that, new growth on the trees, just a really bright green. So that looks good. All right, and then this reminds me too that I want to get over here into my color correction. And this image, I don't want to desaturate it. I want to saturate this one. We want it to have like those kind of bright green colors. So you can see that, while I was messing with the saturation of the trees, we're getting it dialed back up. So this is part of the challenge of like working on, taking an effect stack and then backing it out. I didn't want to go through and like add all the effects every single time. It's kind of handy to have those effects and kind of get them in place. But, either way, you could either rebuild your effect stack every time, or you can work with something that you already have. So, this is starting to look really good. You can see that the contrast really helped us out there. The temperature, we don't want it to be warm. I do want it to be a little bit cooler. And I found that the temperature slider, you don't want to make broad, large moves here. We want it to just be like in the 0.1 range. So that looks good. So that really lightens up our sky. That's looking much better. So we're in good shape there. So let's hop into build mode, and let's bring the sun back up. So I'll bring this back up so we can see what we're working on. And then we'll go to our objects tab, and we're going to be on place mode, the place tool. But we don't want to place on the winter layer. We're going to turn that one off, and we are going to go to our spring layer. We're going to turn it on, and I need to click on that number 4 layer. And so this way now that layer number 4, it's black. That's our active current layer. We are adding objects to the spring layer. And the main thing I want to add here is just going to be, let's add some people and birds. All right, so I'll go to our people and animals collection, and we're already on our 2D people. And I know there is a woman in here that has an umbrella. So let's just get her kind of up front to sell that idea of, you know, a drizzly spring morning. So there she is. And we'll put her kind of in that similar front and center area. And then, you know, I think it's okay that, you know, people would be out there walking around, you know, probably in, you know, comfortable clothes. So we'll do one there. And I don't think we have anyone else that's wearing, that is, has an umbrella. So we'll use our guy on the bike there, you know, first ride of the spring. All right, let's take a look at what we got. We'll go back to our photo mode and check out our spring scenario here. And so perfect. You know, we have our woman with the umbrella. We got a guy riding his bike. You know, we'll give it a shot. Let's take a look at our precipitation effect. All right. And so on here, maybe I want to adjust my precipitation phase. You know, how much rain do we want to have on the ground, like that? And so, you know, if it's like really, really saturated, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of interesting like that. You know, in the fall scenario, we had it where it was just kind of just a little bit wet on the ground, but here it's like soaked, you know, it's been raining. That looks pretty good. And let's see, I think the last thing I'm going to do, let's check our lens flare. And I always do add just a bit of that like bloom, you know, like the master brightness and the bloom. It just gives it that like haze, and I like that look. So I get that by increasing our bloom amount and the master brightness. So you can, you know, really go nuts with that, but we'll just kind of keep it calm there. Cool. All right, and then, you know, the last final touch is to look at like your exposure. So if I look at the exposure, and that's where I can say, you know, it's either, you know, it needs to brighten up or do something different. So I think we're pretty good at 0.6, and I would say I'm about ready for a test render. So let's render one out. I'm just going to do 3840 by 2160, and I'll call this one spring, and let's see what we get. All right, so let's click on the open folder button and just hit enter, and we're going to take a look at this image. Now, what's deceiving is when you add that precipitation effect, it seems like you're going to get these like big raindrops, you know, right in front of your camera. But what's so cool is that when we render it out, we get this streaking effect. You know, these raindrops are like falling past the camera. Very convincing, very realistic. I love that new precipitation effect. This image I think is looking pretty spectacular. You know, it's a morning image, you know, so the sun is just kind of coming up. You know, we don't have a ton of light on the building. That's really not what we're going for, and I think that's okay. Different type of image. And I like that everything is, you know, really well saturated. The trees are nice and green, and lots of spring colors. I think we nailed it. I love too that the sun, the clouds, and the glowiness of it. And to me, it's a very convincing image with very, very little effort put into this. So I think the only thing that I would recommend now, you know, we're at the very end of this entire tutorial series, but I'm going to go into my materials, and I'm going to rotate this mow pattern. I would like to see the mow pattern going, you know, parallel with that sidewalk, the way that they would actually mow it. And that's real nitpicky, but hey, it's an easy change to make. And I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to show you how to do a batch render, and I think we're going to call it quits. So we're almost there. Stick with me. Let's close that image, and let's hop into build mode again. So I'll go over to build mode. And so now I'm just going to take a look at our 3D grass here. I need to go to my materials and click on the 3D grass, and now I can go to map rotation. And let's see if we just kind of move that around. And, you know, I like to hold shift, as I've mentioned several times. And so just do something where it's like the mow patterns are in line with the sidewalk. And let me see the map scale maybe could be smaller, you know, to get a little bit more of that patterning going on. Let's take a look. I'll go back to photo mode. I check that okay. And then let's see what we got. Yeah, I mean, something like that would probably be more realistic. They would just run it like, you know, parallel to that sidewalk. So let's just review what we have. Oh, sorry, let me save this. I'm gonna go to File and choose Save Effects. And this one, we're gonna call this BD underscore, and we're gonna call it Wet Spring. Of course, I'm gonna share all of these with you guys so that you can just load them up and jumpstart the effect. But I would definitely recommend giving it a try yourself. It is super easy, and we've shown you how to do it all. So anyway, we've got camera number 1 is our summer view, that nice hazy summer look. Camera number 2, that's the one that we've been working on quite a bit, and camera number 3. And then we get into our seasonal renders of, yeah, look at that fall, and then winter, and spring. 4 very distinctly different looks. I love it. All right, so I'm gonna hop over here to render photos, and I'm gonna go this time to photo set. And so here you can see we've got 01, 2, and 3 summer, and then I'm gonna rename these. We'll go 04 fall, and then 05 is going to be winter, and 06 will be spring, just like that. All right, and so remember, you can check them on and off. You know, if like you don't want to render some of them, you can easily check those on and off. I'm just going to render them all out. You know, we're at the end of the tutorial. We're not going to wait around for these to finish, but you know, we'll post the images and definitely show you the final effects. So to finish it off, I'm going to hit 3840 by 2160. I want these to be high quality. I might make a folder and call it 190515 for today. And so we'll render those out. Let's see, 190515 underscore. Year, month, day, enter, and we're on our way. Cool, so thank you so much for sticking with me through these tutorials. While that renders out, I'll just have a few closing thoughts. Remember, it's the same process every single time. You're gonna add those effects on, you're gonna layer them, and then you're just gonna tweak them to get the right mood. So definitely practice. You know, if you need to, just load up the effect stacks that we give you, but give it a shot. You can do this, you know, add your own style and your own flair to it, save them out, share them with your colleagues, and reuse them. It makes rendering so easy in Lumion. So thanks again for sticking with me through the series, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial.